Greetings, Japan fans. Today's show, we're going to look at leaders and some of the outputs that maybe not that good. Maishu, arigatou gozaimasu, and welcome back to the 9th year of the Leadership Japan series. And I'm your host in Tokyo, Dr. Greg Story, your corporate coaching and training guy committed to your success, president of Dale Carnegie Training Tokyo, Japan, and the 3-time best-selling author of Japan Sales Mastery, Japan Business Mastery, and Japan Presentations Mastery. My new book in Japanese, Za Eigyo, is available on Amazon. We are broadcasting around the world from Minato-ku in the center of Tokyo, the leadership capital of Japan. This podcast brings insights, examples, and experience about leading in Japan, and trust me, it is different here. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with your family, friends, and colleagues. We are not being sponsored by Libsyn, but we value your privacy, which is why we have our podcast hosted by Libsyn, who, unlike many other podcast hosts, have a strict policy that does not allow access to your private information by anyone. Here is our daily podcast lineup on iTunes. Mondays, the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show. Tuesdays, the Presentations Japan series. Every second Tuesday, the Business Tatsujin no Oshie Show. Wednesdays, the Sales Japan series. Thursdays, the Leadership Japan series. And every second Thursday, the Business Pro Podcast Show. Fridays, the Japan Business Mastery Show. And Saturdays, Japan's top business interviews. Before we get going, today's handy Japanese phrase is Zen Zen Wakaranai. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't understand. Now again, this is informal Japanese. Don't say this to the client, please. If they ask you something you don't know, don't say Zen Zen Wakaranai. That would be bad. Friends, though, it's okay. Your friend asks you something and you have no clue. You just say, or you don't understand, you just say, Zen Zen Wakaranai. Zen Zen Wakaranai. Zen Zen Wakaranai. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't get it. I have no idea, no clue. Zen Zen Wakaranai. Zen Zen Wakaranai. Zen Zen Wakaranai. Very handy phrase. Not for clients, though. Case for clients would be, Sumimasen, ima wakarimasen desu. Or, Sumimasen, ima wakarimasen deshita. もう一度教えてください. Please, I didn't understand. Please tell me again. Something like that would be nicer. Okay, now this is episode number 469, as we start into our 10th year. Ooh, here we go. 10 years. Unbelievable. Anyway, today we are talking about leader outputs, divorce, awry kids, weak finances, and no friends. Japan was decimated by the Pacific War, really struggled until they had the lucky break called the Korean War. Suddenly, the war required a lot of supplies, and more importantly, Japan was no longer seen as a pariah, but as a bulwark against communism. America began to pour money into the country to bolster its economic defenses and keep it capitalist. By 1960, things had improved to the point where Prime Minister Hayato Ikeda could make the doubling of the economy a realistic target. The engine room of this turnaround was the hard work of the Japanese people, but it came at costs. Fathers weren't around because they were working all the time, and so mothers had to take care of the kids in their absence. Things have improved a lot since then. Schools no longer operate on Saturdays, and the same for most firms. Fathers are more able to spend time with their children, and more mothers are working too these days. Karoshi, death from overwork, is still a thing in Japan, and black companies who exploit their staff are being named and shamed. The hollowing out of middle management has put additional pressure on leaders. The introduction of technology means that bosses are basically doing their own typing and administration as well as running their teams. Often they are player managers, which means they also have their own clients and personal sales to achieve. The traditions of total work, like total war, continue for leaders. being busy is good and being too busy is not. There are many facets to life, like the facets of a cut diamond, and as leaders, we are well to remember that fact. The wheel of life is a good visual reminder of the need for better balance in our leader lives. It is basically a rotary shape with a score of 0 at the center, and the outer edge has a score of 10. You score yourself against the 8 key indicators to monitor how you are doing across the important segments of your life. Obviously, career is one of the indicators, and in Japan, that can often be not particularly under one's control. The idea is you work like a dog, like everyone else, and you will rise through the ranks and get the same bonuses as everyone else until you get to a certain advanced stage where certain people will keep going and you will go sideways. The lifetime employment configuration is changing, and for many people, taking control of their career is an option today. The point about the Wheel of Life exercise is to make sure this isn't the only thing in your leader life, which for a lot of men can easily become the reality. Unsurprisingly, divorce rates are rising in correlation to the financial independence of married women. Working for the family and losing the family doesn't make any sense. Finance is a tricky thing in Japan. The vast majority of people keep their money in the bank in cash and do not invest it. During the deflationary economy of the past decades, that made sense, but as we enter more inflationary times, the wealth will be eroded unless it is invested. Japan doesn't let you miss your tax filing, so at least that forces us to get our act together on that front. The pension system will collapse at some point because there are just insufficient numbers of young people paying in to fund the oldies taking the money out as they retire. When I was at the Shinsei Bank, I was always keen to encourage customers to invest in personal annuities to avoid that collapse, but there is still a big gap in understanding of winter is coming. As leaders, we cannot be too busy to manage our finances well and prepare for the future, but often we do just that, thinking we'll get to that later. Find out more. We come back from the break. Our show today is brought to you by our public programs, but we also do custom-made in-house classes. Now, we do them in our super safe classroom, we do them live online, and we do them in Japanese, and we do them in English. Today's show is being brought to you by, on the 25th of June, doing the Dale Carnegie course, brilliant course. Leadership aspects in that course are tremendous. These, of course, leadership requires good communication skills. Course has got that on steroids. It requires good people skills. Course has got that on steroids too. Also, how to manage your stress. Very, very important for a leader. Plus, how to push yourself out of your comfort zone to keep going, to challenge, to keep growing, keep moving yourself forward in your career. Great course, covers all of those things. On the 12th of July, we'll be doing our previews of our courses coming up. On the 23rd of July, we'll be doing next session in our professional ongoing education series. Our website is www.dale.carnegie.co.jp. You can email me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. If you like learning by watching videos, then we have over 1,000 for you there at Tokyo, Japan, Dale Carnegie TV on YouTube. Get my best-selling books, Japan Sales Mastery, the Bible for selling in Japan, and Japan Business Mastery, as well as my new book, Japan Presentations Mastery. We release 3 TV shows every week on YouTube. The Cutting Edge Japan Business Show, that's a premier business show in Japan, comes out Mondays. Fridays, we have Japan Business Mastery Show. Saturdays, Japan's top business interviews, where I interview leaders in Japan from SMEs all the way up to the corporate captains of industry on one topic, leading in Japan. Every second Thursday, we release the Business Pro Television Show. Don't forget, you can email me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. Welcome back. Community is well developed in Japan as part of the rice-growing culture mindset which continues into urban life still. People voluntarily wearing face masks during COVID was never even an issue for anyone here, no matter how irritating and uncomfortable. Everyone was doing their bit for everyone else. But leaders can often be isolated from their community because work is the only focus. Communities need leaders, and we should make ourselves available. It helps others and it helps us to become more rounded in our lives and relationships. Social life is often the first fatality of overtime. Working from home has meant the boundary between work and non-work has collapsed, and leaders are now working much longer hours trying to cope with running dispersed organizations. Catching up with friends has diminished because we have stopped going out with COVID ranging around us. However, even before that, bosses are often neglecting the chance to smell the flowers from the back of the galloping horse. Bosses dragging younger and often reluctant staff out for dinner and drinks was a type of fake social life. Having rich relationships is real wealth, and leaders need to keep that idea in mind. Family, we have touched on already. For male leaders in particular, what are we working for? We say family, but we don't spend as much time with our family as we need to. We need to work on having a wonderful, fulfilling family life because it won't happen by itself. Personal life pursuits are not selfish. Leaders need hobbies, interests, and pursuits outside of work. Often we are trading time away from these interests toward working longer hours. I am a curious example. I write and record my articles every Saturday, so in one sense, the workaholic in me is on full tilt. On the other hand, I cannot play a musical instrument, draw or paint, so writing for me is an artistic escape from the work world. We leaders need something other than work to focus on, or life is pretty bare. Health is not something we should ever compromise, but we don't do the exercise we should do because we are busy. We eat and drink too much and often consume content which we should avoid altogether or which we should consume in microscopic quantities. I see obese people appear for a while at the gym, tethered to their personal trainers. I immediately check my watch. Because the clock is ticking, and in a few weeks they will be gone. Why? They got way too big. Just have too much meat on them. And losing the weight needs a complete lifestyle change, which they are unwilling to make. I've been there. Gaining weight due to eating and drinking too much at work-related dinners and functions. When I was working in Nagoya, I attended a work-related geisha party function, and later some kind soul gave me a commemorative photograph from the evening. I was sitting on the tatami, and it was a profile shot. When I gazed on that expansive girth I had accumulated, I had an epiphany. I was massively obese. I know well the continuous effort it takes to get the weight back down, but it is vital we leaders make that effort. Spirituality is such a personal element. I'm hesitant to say much about it. The basic idea, though, is to reflect on who we are, why we are here, and what we plan to do with our life. As busy leaders, though, are we doing any of that, or is it all spreadsheets, revenues, and reporting? Leaders have many roles and responsibilities. Work is one of them, not the only one. The Wheel of Life exercise is always a good reminder that we are omnipresent creatures living in a multiverse. As a friend of mine says, time is life. What are we leaders doing with it? Thank you for joining the Leadership Japan series. If you found the program useful, then share it with your family, friends, and colleagues. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast. Take what you found valuable. Immediately put into action, because idea application is what makes winners winners. Be one of them. Remember, I'm your corporate coaching and training guy in your corner, committed to your success here in Nippon.